Recording in progress.
John, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but I can't get my video going. It says you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Oh, okay. Hang on. That is my fault. Hang on.
You got internet?
No, but I'm using my phone. You should be able to do it now.
Okay. There he is.
All right.
All
Good.
right. Did you get the meeting minutes from the last meeting? Because
I saw, I don't know whether I got the latest version. I saw a version that Kim had edited.
yeah, but I'm not sure. What was sent to me is I'm just unclear as to what it looks like. A lot of stuff is marked, you know, almost like a yellow marker kind of thing. Only
Yes, that's what I saw. I don't,
Yeah, like-
I
like
don't know
this.
why that is. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
So I'm not sure what the actual meeting minutes are. I mean, I just perusing them briefly. They looked all right, and I know Kim went through them, and I believe Tim Allenbrook, as always, went through them with a fine-tooth comb.
I usually highlight what I add or change.
Ah, okay. But Gretchen, so what I have here that you sent, it looks like stuff is almost the whole thing is highlighted. Is that part of the minutes?
Yeah, that's just things that I changed or edited or, you know, added, who
Okay.
changed the motion. When I change the names and things.
Okay. Hey, when's the next meeting, by the way? Just
I believe it's June 15th.
Actually, you know what? Let me check. I got my phone here.
That's the third Wednesday. Yep.
Is it? Okay. My wife's out playing with the dogs, so there's gonna be a lot of, we got a couple of chocolate labs and my son's golden retriever puppy, although he's pretty big. But
All right. So you got
Very
a
active.
house full there.
we've got about 300 pounds worth of dog. Of course, you probably have that between the two of yours.
I do about. I don't see anybody else in the waiting room yet, but
Yeah, they'll go. Yep, June 15th. I just wanted to let Wendy know when our next meeting was, that's all, so.
good. Yeah, well, that's good for me to know too, so I can mark the diary.
So John, you want to, I mean, I guess we'll go, we can have a discussion before the resolution is read. We did discuss the resolution at the last meeting, at the end of the last meeting. Do you want to have another discussion beforehand, or we can just? Go
No,
to
I
the
mean,
resolution?
I think if you had a discussion before,
Yeah,
that's sufficient, you know, I'm not,
Yeah.
you know. You had to, it didn't occur to me when we were talking about it, but of course you had to have discussed it in sufficient detail to, you know, give Catherine
direction, yeah.
direction. Yep.
Yeah.
There's Tim.
Hello.
Hi, Tim.
Hey, listen, I've got a half a dozen very tiny corrections or suggested things for this famous for Catherine's
Resolution.
resolution. So I just pipe up while they're being read.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, a couple of them are just typos, and a couple of them are, I think, the wrong word.
Okay.
So. You got your internet back.
No, I'm doing this all on my phone.
Wow, it's a pretty good picture.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
that's
have
why
a,
I was surprised that you were on your phone. It was so good that I thought it had to be on.
yeah, my phone's pretty new, so.
Okay.
I didn't think there'd ever come a day where I thought I would say that I'm looking forward to doing business with Spectrum, but I am. So
What do you have now?
right now we have a company called Stroud Media, and we get our signal by radio signal from a tower across the river.
Yeah, Spectrum is not bad on the internet. So
Yeah,
that's what we have.
yeah. I've gone many around with them when they were Time Warner Cable and for other things,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Well, they're all pretty lousy. I mean, they're none are good to deal with.
Yeah. But if at least if the internet works, that's something that'll be a big step forward for us.
Yeah, their internet works. I can vouch for that.
Yep.
Have they done anything with regard to, or has there been any more talk about more towers and better phone service and all that kind of stuff? Because where I am, I can barely use my phone. In fact, I have to go out to my car half the time or drive into town.
Yeah. I think there's discussion about the possibility of at least one new cell tower in town out near Route 9G. And, the intersection of 9 and 9G, but
Yeah, because it's just dreadful, and it's a safety hazard. I mean, how do you call 911?
yep.
You know,
Yep. Hi, Tim, other Tim.
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey,
Good,
Tim,
got
thank
it.
you for volunteering for that,
Sure.
advisory committee or whatever it is. I just don't have the time. I'm up to my eyeballs.
What do you do with Esther?
I'm on the board. I'm head of the governance committee, and I'm also on the executive committee. So that keeps me active. I actually had to pare back my involvement there when I became chair here. People, I don't think it was malicious, but when I became chair, no one told me it was like 4 times the work of just being a member. And it was conveniently not told to me. And I found out very quickly that, which I enjoy. I mean, I like doing it. And it's, we have great counsel, and we got Gretchen, and we had Chris, and, we have great people and everything else. But it's just like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on what you guys don't see, which I never saw for like 15 years or whatever it was, 13 years when I was just a board member. So.
Is that the Astor School?
Well, it's Astor Services, and it's
Oh.
actually an organization. It's not just the campus we have in Rhinebeck is just a tiny little piece of it. We provide services, for example, in Dutchess County, we're Head Start. We do the Head Start program.
Okay.
And we're in Ulster, we're in Orange, we're all over the place. We have a big presence in the Bronx. So it's a very, very large organization. It's not the quote unquote orphanage
Right.
that they, it first was in 1953.
Right. My wife worked there for quite a while, actually.
Well, good for her. She's the staff is unbelievable, and their dedication is just extraordinary. They get paid very little to do an extremely difficult job, but a very important one. And my hats are off to them.
So do we got a full schedule today, or? Is it
We don't
just-
have much. We have Tataconda coming back because another variance is required, and then we're just doing the Daniels resolution. That's it. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Scott. Hi,
Ready to-
everybody.
Hi,
Hi,
Catherine.
Catherine.
Ready to be embarrassed when I tell people how wonderful you are for doing the resolution?
I feel so much better if you just skip that.
Well, I can just tell the board members though that you did unbelievable amount of work and did a really good job.
Okay,
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yep. I would agree with that. There was a lot to sort out.
Yeah.
well, thank you.
All right, I'll behave myself, Catherine,
Okay, good.
but you know how I feel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're at 7:02. Do you want to, let's see, we have a quorum. We have everybody. No, we don't have Richard. Yeah.
Don't have Richard.
Want to wait a couple of minutes since we don't have much on tonight?
Sure.
We need to wait for Wendy too, because she's got to be here for the Tataconda.
I almost wish I had another application because you've got nothing going on.
Listen, you know what's going on tonight? Right now, this shows you the kind of dedication I have to this board. At 7 o'clock, down in Raleigh, the Rangers are playing the Hurricanes. I'm a huge Ranger fan. So I am missing a playoff game, a portion of it for this. So that's why I'm happy we don't have much going on. I'll probably miss the first period, but at least I'll see the second and third.
Scott, you could do what some of my employees I've caught doing. They have a little screen up in the top, a little window in the top of their screen, and they're watching some World Cup game or.
I'm not that, I can't multitask. I
either.
need to be focused. So, I see Wendy's here. That's good.
And Richard's
Richard's
here as
here.
well.
So I think we can,
John, did you get your internet back or are you on your
Hey, Richard.
iPhone?
I'm on my phone. Yep.
John, do you want to start?
Sure. Well, did you want to read a statement, Scott?
Yeah, no, I have to do that, but we have to, are we recording at this point?
Yes, we are recording.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, good. All right. All right, good evening, everybody. I'd like to welcome you to the Town of Rhinebeck Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for May 18th, 2022. And let me just read some language so that we can do this remotely. On April 9th, 2022, the budget bill was signed into law by Governor Hochul. Section WW of that bill included amendments to the open meetings law relating to video conferencing. And that was, and one part was concerned virtual meetings. And it allows us to go forward and do those meetings for 60 days past, starting on April 9th or June 8th, 2022. So at this point in time, the enabling legislation that's in the budget is still valid. It does expire on June 8th, 2022. It remains in whether it'll be extended. But you know, when we have more information about that, it'll be, I'm sure, put on the town website. So, but anyway, this evening we can go virtual, and that's what we're going to do. So, did everybody get a chance to take a look at the meeting minutes for the last meeting of April 20th, 2022?
Yes.
Yes,
Any corrections, concerns?
No, I don't have. any.
Okay, hearing none, I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for April 20th, 2022 as presented. Do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None? Okay, it passes unanimously. Okay, our first order of business is, and we only have one application, is Tataconda. And Wendy, I see that you're here.
Hello.
Hello. It's like deja vu all over
I
again.
know, I'm back.
You're back. Well, it's nice to have you, but I'm sorry about the mix-up, and I'm sure you've heard apologies. But,
Oh, no
but-
worries.
So, but anyway, we've already gone through this application before, and of course, I wrote the resolution. It was the first two variances, I think there were two, as I recollect,
Yes.
were granted, and unfortunately, it was determined afterwards that a third was required. So if you could just, for the public's edification, explain what the new application is, which is basically we're seeking the third variance that should have been picked up the first time around.
Certainly. So the third variance is that the accessory dwelling unit that we're requesting to build exceeds 900 square feet, which is the maximum allowed. So that is why we are gathering tonight.
Right, and it's going to be 1,815 square
That's
feet?
correct. Yes.
Okay, so you're looking for a variance of 915 square feet.
Yes.
All right. Nothing else, obviously, about the application has changed. Everything's
No.
the same. All right,
Mhm.
and I see you've attached all that. Okay, and we have the letter from Mike. All right. Does anybody have a question as to the subsequent application here? Anybody have any questions? I know we're very familiar with the applications. We've all been out there and studied this application. Any questions, concerns?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. All right. Again, yes, Catherine?
Sorry, I was on mute. Just to confirm, the plans you gave us in the first application for the pool house are just the same?
They are exactly the same. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, the only thing that happened here, in case you hadn't heard, is that after the resolution was, granted the two variances, it was determined that a third was required. And so the best way to go about getting that done was to file another application, which Wendy did. And and that's what she's done. But everything's the same. It's just, it should have been brought to her attention, when the first application. So
Yeah,
People make mistakes. That's the way it goes, unfortunately. All right. So at this point in time, since we are so familiar with this, I would make a motion that we accept the application. Do I have a second?
second,
Okay. Any questions, concerns? Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Are there anyone opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the application is accepted. And I will do the resolution since I did the last resolution. And we'll have a public hearing. The public hearing, I guess I'll make a motion at this time that we have a public hearing set for June 15th, 2022. Do I have a second on that?
Second,
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right. So Wendy, can you make June 15th?
Certainly.
Okay, and you've been through this process before. Again, there'll be a public hearing on that. You'll go through this just very briefly. And I commit to you that I will have a resolution ready. And I assume we're going to be closing the public hearing on the 15th. And then after that, I'll have a resolution ready. Okay,
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
I apologize again for the mix-up.
No apologies necessary.
All right. And John, I think we have just some cleanup work to do. We should probably categorize this as a type 2 action, just as we did previously.
Well, it's, we can do that. It's currently in front of the planning board who's doing seeker. So,
Okay. Well, I'll defer
as
to them
long-
then.
okay, yeah, as long as they've issued their determination of significance by June 15th, we should be able to issue an approval.
Okay. Referrals to obviously the planning board has it, but I guess we have to formally do another referral over.
Yes, and the
And the
CAB.
Okay. All right, again, I'll do the resolution.
I feel a need to have a site visit again.
No,
Okay.
not me at least. We all were out there. It's a lovely property and we're all out there. Nothing's changing. So
I was gonna ask for another one, but that was pure selfishness.
and that's exactly, and I suspected that I'd get a couple of people saying, oh, I forgot. So they could go out there and,
I can't remember what that driveway looked like.
yeah, I can't remember what those mountains look like. Anyway.
No, I
It's
don't
pure
think, we-
jealousy.
yeah.
So, no, it's a lovely project and we'll take care of this mix up. So any other housekeeping, John? I think that
Nope.
probably does it.
I think that's everything.
Okay. All right. So Wendy, we'll see you on June 15th.
Okay, thanks very much,
care.
everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Okay, we have no public hearings. And the last thing we have is the remaining thing is the resolution on Daniels. So anyway, I'm sorry. Can you hold on just a second? Okay. No. Okay, thanks. Anyway, sorry about that. All right, Catherine.
Do we have to close the public hearing first?
Yes, and I was going to ask that, Gretchen. It was my recollection that I had held the public hearing open pending receipt of firm numbers from Robert. Is that accurate? Okay. I understand those numbers have actually have been supplied. So at this time, I'd make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second. Oh,
Okay. All in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the public hearing is closed. All right, Catherine, take it away. I think we'll have you read the resolution. I understand from Tim Allenbrook, he may have a couple of minor things he may want to bring up during the course of the reading of it. And but why don't you take it away?
okay, this will take a little while, but let me see, ZBA case number 1021. Applicant, the applicants are Donna and Tom Daniels. They're the owners of the property and are represented by Robert Murray of Murray Engineering. Property involved. This appeal involves property located at 8 Slate Dock Road in the town of Rhinebeck and which bears the tax parcel number 6070184771188. The applicant's property is 1.359 acres in area and is located in the RM1 RC0 zoning district. Description of proposed project. The applicant seek to demolish the existing small cottage, which is 840 square feet, and replace it with a new home and a freestanding accessory dwelling and two-car garage. Based on the town of Rhinebeck zoning law, 3 area variances are required. Rhinebeck zoning law 12569C7 states that the maximum gross floor area of a principal structure within the RCO district shall be no more than 2,300 square feet. Initially, the proposed gross, are you guys hearing an echo now? Or just me?
Slight, but keep going.
Okay, I'll just keep going. I think I'm going to be the only one thrown off. Initially, the proposed gross floor area of the principal structure was 3,050 square feet, but this has been reduced to 2,512 square feet. A variance is therefore requested for 212 square feet. Number 2, Rhinebeck zoning law, section 12537A3 states that except for agricultural structures, guest cottages, or caretakers' dwellings, no such structure shall either project closer to the fronting street than the principal building on the lot or be located within a required front yard. A guest cottage or caretaker's dwelling must, however, meet the minimum setback requirement for the zoning district. The accessory dwelling unit garage is closer to the front street, Slate Dock Road, than the principal structure. The proposed accessory dwelling unit garage is proposed to be located 232 feet from Slate Dock Road. The principal building will be 286 feet from the road, thus requiring a variance of 54 feet for the accessory dwelling unit garage. Rhinebeck zoning law 12527A1 states that accessory structures shall not exceed 20 feet in height in any residential district. The accessory dwelling unit was initially proposed to be 25 feet tall. It was later reduced to 22 feet tall. However, the applicant has provided an updated figure that the proposed height of the accessory dwelling unit garage will have a height of 23 feet 8 inches. This will require a variance of 3 feet 8 inches. Municipal appeal. The applicants filed an appeal with this board on October 20th, 2021. And this should be have paid. The requisite fee. The applicants were first before the town of Rhinebeck Planning Board for site plan and special use permit on August 2nd, 2021. When the board's planning consultant first indicated that a variance would likely be required for the placement of the accessory structure garage being closer to the fronting street than the principal structure. The applicants met with the town's ZEO subsequently and filed their application before the ZBA pursuant to section 12575B. It should also be noted that the referral for this application to the ZBA for area variances directly from the planning board to the ZBA with the necessity of a decision or determination of the town zoning enforcement officer is authorized by New York State Town Law, section 267A3, site plan approval, and section 267B3, approval of special use permits. This application was accepted by this board on February 16th, 2022, and deemed complete. Upon receipt of the most recent dimensions provided by the applicants, an updated determination letter dated May 17th, 2022 was issued confirming the requested variances. John, I have a quick question.
Yep.
Should that be after planning board to the ZBA? Should that be without the necessity of a decision of determination?
Yes.
Okay,
Good catch. Thank you.
sure. I didn't notice it before, but when I was reading it, it jumped out. SECRA, the ZBA classified this project as type 2 under SECRA per 6 CRR New York 617.5C 16 and 6 CRR New York 617.5 C17 for an individual setback and lot line variance and adjustment and an area variance for a single-family residence. No further environmental review is required.
Okay, I have one correction there. That should be NYCRR.
In both of those sections,
Yes,
it should be, I'm sorry, what?
And why?
it should be NYCRR. It's the acronym for the New York Code of Rules and Regulations.
Oh, okay, so it just needs an NY in front of both of them.
Yeah,
And
and the
then-
NY at the end taken out. It just got itself backwards.
Okay, all right, got it. And Gretchen, I can make these updates tomorrow and send it to you, so you don't have to worry about it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, referrals and responses. The application was referred to the Town of Rhinebeck Planning Board and Waterfront Advisory Committee, WAC, as the property is located in the LWRP following the ZBA acceptance of the application is complete. The board responded on March 7th, 2022, and ultimately recommended that the ZBA should rely on its own study of the facts. Hey, John, do
Yes,
you happen to be connected twice?
yes,
Could you mute your other self?
it is mute.
Oh, okay. I was hoping that would get rid of this echo. Sorry, I'll keep going.
Okay,
That the ZBA should rely on its own study of the facts in deciding the application in accordance with the criteria and procedures set forth in the Town Code, Chapter 125, Section 125.69.c, 125.a.1, and 125.a.3, including consideration of the input of neighboring property owners, the HAPAC, and the CABWAC. However, the planning board stated that the project raised planning and environmental concerns, particularly with the height of the garage and the impact on the neighbor's view shed. Currently, the application is before the planning board for site plan review and special use permit. The WAC has not responded. As 30 days have elapsed since the application was referred to WAC, the ZBA may move forward with its final decision without having received comments from the WAC. Public hearing. A public hearing on this application was advertised and held on March 16th, 2022. Because of the COVID-19 pandemic, the public hearing was held virtually pursuant to New York State legislation S.50001/A.40001, which suspended certain provisions of the open meetings law to allow a municipal board to convene meetings during the current pandemic via video conferencing and/or telephone conferencing. The public was afforded the opportunity to view and participate during this public hearing remotely. The public hearing was attended by David and Dorothy Behrens of 4 Slate Dock Road and Robert Lonergan of 403 Rhine Cliff Road. Mr. Behrens stated concerns with the impact the accessory structure would have on their view shed and would like the applicant held to the current zoning law. Mr. Lonergan asked if the garage had been moved, and if so, how far. On April 13th, 2022, the ZBA received a letter from Mr. and Mrs. Behrens reiterating their concern about the impact to the view shed and their privacy in using their pool, and asked that the project conform to the current zoning code. During the public hearing, it was noted by the ZBA that there were discrepancies between the applications before the Planning Board, Building Department, and ZBA regarding the height and placement of the garage. This caused concern for the ZBA, and as the ZBA wanted to know the final plans proposed by the applicants and considering the variances requested. The ZBA requested that the applicants amend their application to finalize these numbers and provide supporting documentation where necessary. The public hearing was continued on April 20th, 2022.
Catherine, that should be 2, shouldn't it?
Should be what?
Well, the last sentence, the ZBA requested the applicant amend their application to finalize these numbers and provide supporting documentation where necessary. The public hearing was continued to,
Okay.
no
Yeah.
big deal.
Yes, no,
Happened to
okay,
those.
but while we're catching all these things, thank you, Tim.
Sure.
At the April 20th, 2022 public hearing, the ZBA continued to ask for clarification on the final variance figures the applicants requested, as there were still some uncertainty as to the gross floor area of the principal structure and continued inconsistencies between the planning board, building department, and ZBA applications. On May 2nd, 2022, the applicants provided corrections and updates to the planning board, building department, and ZBA applications so that all applications and plans were consistent with one another. The public hearing was continued on May 18th, 2022. No additional comments were provided by the public, and we did close that public hearing, didn't
We
we?
did.
Okay, so I
You
just
reminded me.
take out those parens. Okay. Site visit. On March 20th, 2022, Timothy Allenbrook, Scott Bergen, Richard Kopashansky, Timothy Econopoli, and Catherine Clark visited the applicant's property and the surrounding neighborhood, including a visit to the adjoining 4 Slate Dock Road property with the permission of the Barons to observe firsthand on-site conditions, property characteristics, settings, surrounding environment, and the character of the surrounding neighborhood. No business or deliberations were conducted during the site visit. Findings of fact and conclusions of law. Balancing test. In our review of the variances sought, we have considered the benefit to the applicants if the area variances are granted, as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such grant. We determined that the variances requested should be granted because the benefits outweigh the detriment to the view of the neighboring property and present no detriment to the overall health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by the granting of the variance. Consideration of 5 factors in balancing test. In our determination, yes.
Sorry, Catherine, can you go back to the last sentence?
Yes.
Of item 9,
Item 9, yes.
the last sentence of item 9, and present no detriment to the overall health. I would think the language would be a little more reasonable if we said minimal.
Okay, that seems fine.
Okay.
I agree with that, Tim.
Yeah, I agree
Okay.
with that too. Catherine, before you get going again, and Tim, just a question. The correction you made on the public hearing or public hearing in April, was that you changed the date to April? What was the change on that? If you could just go over that real quick.
It changed the word on to the word to,
Okay,
just before the date.
okay,
Right.
all right, good, all right,
Should I continue?
please.
Okay. Consideration of 5 factors in balancing test. In our determination, we have considered the 5 factors required by section 125.124C1 of the town of Rhinebeck zoning law as follows. If the variances are granted, will it cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or cause a detriment to nearby properties? As to variance 1, size of principal dwelling, we find the answer to this question is no. The placement of the proposed principal house is situated so that it is largely not visible from the road. The topography of this parcel is challenging with a number of steep slopes that limit placement of the house. By building the proposed structure on the same general site of the existing cottage and by maintaining the same height, some of the impact from the new construction on neighboring property views is mitigated. The profile is seen from the river is in line with other houses along the Hudson River in scale. The proposed color palette mimics numerous farm buildings in the Hudson Valley. The request for a 212 square foot variance for gross footage is within the range of the surrounding area houses. In this particular area of the Rhine Cliff Overlay District, the houses nearest to this property were all built between 1950 and 2008 and ranged in size from 1,360 square feet to 3,253 square feet. One, excuse me, one has a detached garage in front of the residence, as is requested here, and most have enclosed or covered porches, which is also consistent with the proposed design. As to variance 2, accessory dwelling unit garage situated closer to the fronting road than the principal house. And variance 3, height of the accessory dwelling garage. The proposed garage and accessory dwelling does have an impact on the view of 4 Slate Dock Road, the property directly to the east of the applicants. Their back deck and pool currently have views of the mountains, and a view analysis shows this will reduce their view by about 17%. However, they will maintain views directly to the west and northwest. The site visit showed that the primary impact for the neighbors was not height, but size and placement of the accessory structure. A one-story accessory structure in the same location would not require a variance for height, but would still reduce the neighbor's view of the mountains. To mitigate the impact, the proposed accessory structure has been modified by the applicants to be narrower, now 22 feet, and shorter, now 23 feet 8 inches. An external staircase has also been removed to further reduce the impact on the view by an additional 3 feet. The location of the accessory dwelling and garage has also been shifted to the south for the same reason. In combination, these alterations mitigate some of the impact for the neighbors to the east. We also noted that the requirement for a height variance of 3 foot 8 inches is due to the slope of the land, which falls off by 4 feet from west to east. The building height on the west side, where cars will enter the garage, is 19 feet 8 inches and within code. Thus, the accessory dwelling unit garage will have an impact on the adjoining neighbors, particularly for their view. However, several adjustments have been made to the accessory dwelling garage to mitigate some of these impacts while still affording the applicants the ability to construct a garage on their lot in a suitable location, given the topography and size of the lot. Can the benefit sought by the applicants be achieved by some method feasible for the applicants to pursue other than these area variances? We find the answer to this question is yes. The house could be redesigned to fit within the 2,300 gross floor area, and the garage accessory dwelling unit could potentially be redesigned to eliminate a variance for height. However, as to its placement, any accessory structure would most likely have to be in front of the principal dwelling due to the topography of the lot, and thus the impact on the view shed of the neighbors to the east would most likely remain or potentially be greater, regardless of an alternative design for the accessory structure. Thus, to have any accessory structure would require variance for being closer to the fronting road. Are the requested area variances substantial? We find the answer to this question is no. The variance for the square footage of the house is 10% over the 2,300 square foot maximum gross floor area, and in relation to the rest of the neighborhood does not seem substantial. As noted before, the height variance for the accessory structure is 17.5% over the maximum height permitted by the zoning law, but that is due to the slope of the land rather than the structure of the building being disproportionately tall. The slope of the land would likely cause any structure on this site to impact the view shed of the neighbors, even if it were less than 20 feet in height. For that reason, the 3 feet 8 inch height is not substantial. The principal house is located in the rear of the property, so the accessory structure is located in a logical location, given the topography of the lot. The accessory structure is
There's something,
Only,
only.
yeah.
Thank you.
yeah.
Good readers. 54 feet closer to the fronting street than the principal house, but is also over 200 feet from the road. Thus, the variances are not substantial. Will the proposed variances have an adverse impact on physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? We find the answer to this question is no. As mentioned above, the proposed construction is largely not visible from public roads. The view from the Hudson River is in line with other houses along the waterway. The usage remains the same and is in character with the rest of the neighborhood. The primary impact is on the view of the neighbor directly to the east, Forest Lake Dock Road, reducing their view of the mountains by 17%, which is due to the width and placement of the building. However, the applicants have made changes to the project, including reducing the height of the structure and shifting its location south to mitigate some of these impacts. It is likely that any structure placed in this general location, even those not requiring a height variance, would impact the neighbor's views in some form due to the topography of the lot. Is the alleged difficulty self-created? We find the answer to this question is yes, as the applicants could minimally reduce the size of the house and redesign the accessory structure within height limits. Having said that, comma in the wrong place.
Yeah.
The overall impact to the site and neighborhood would be virtually the same. The design changes that have been made to reduce the visual width of the accessory structure by 6 feet.
Accessory is misspelled.
Okay, thank you.
Just shocking.
I know. Let's see, the design changes that have been made to reduce the visual width of the accessory structure by 6 feet and move the building south by a foot were made to reduce the impact to the neighbors. Minimal variance requested. In addition to our review of the 5 factors and balancing test, we must also determine if these requested variances are the minimum variances necessary and adequate to accomplish what is requested by the applicant. We find the answer to this question is yes. The design of the house has been reduced from the initial plan, and likewise, the accessory building has been reduced in width. The location of the accessory structure is in part determined by topography and in part to allow for turning out of the single-car garage attached to the house. Now, therefore,
We just have to, I think accessory needs to be corrected in this paragraph as well.
oh, okay. I must have really, well, anyway, I'll correct it.
You're writing with a Midwest accent, Catherine.
Not surprising. Now, therefore, be it resolved based on all the facts described above and upon the reasoning described above as follows. The ZBA hereby grants the variances requested by the applicants, finding that the benefits to the applicants outweighs the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such a grant as discussed above. The granting of these variances is expressly contingent upon the following: that the construction for all buildings conform to the plans as submitted, subject to any additional designs approved by the planning board, including appropriate landscape plans to help reduce potential visual impacts to the neighbors. The granting of these variances shall also be expressly contingent upon the applicant's full payment to the town of Rhinebeck of any and all fees and escrow deposits due in connection with this application in full compliance with Article 14 fee reimbursement of the town of Rhinebeck zoning law. These variances shall not be deemed valid until all such fees are paid in full by the applicant. The granting of these variances does not absolve the applicants from having to secure any other required permits and/or approvals. The area variances shall be null and void unless the proposed construction is commenced within 1 year of this resolution. And I think that's it.
That is it, and that is very, very well done. I know Catherine put a lot of time and effort into it, and so did John, and there was a lot of people involved in this, but Catherine, you did a great job on this resolution. And anyway, I know we discussed this before, but how does the board feel about the resolution? And
I think, if I may, I think Catherine did a great job, and it's everything we discussed and looked at, and great job, Catherine.
Thank you.
yeah, I Catherine did a great job here, and I think it's worth noting that really the main issue here was the 17% reduction in view by the neighbors. The rest of it to me was not a big deal, but that is a big deal. But I know that the applicants did a lot of things to mitigate that, I felt on balance, given the mitigations that were done by the applicant and just the overall area, that this was the correct decision. Tim,
Yep.
any comments, concerns?
I think the resolution was very well written and moved through each topic in a very consistent way, and very, very good easy to read.
Yeah, and the other thing,
Considering,
yes. And the other thing is I think, going through and doing percentages and going through, other houses in the area, what exists in the other parts. I mean, you did a lot of homework on this thing to add meat to the opinion or, to the various pieces of the resolution. And I think that was very well done. It took a lot of time, obviously.
Thank you. I would bring up one comment for Mr. Daniels. And it's not in our purview, so Scott, just take this with a grain of salt. But in the Baron's letter, they mentioned their concern about privacy. And given all the light you have coming in from the west side into that accessory structure, it might be beneficial to them if there were not windows on the east side. This is probably something the planning board will look at or bring up, but it just struck me in their letter. And given the structure of the building, if you eliminated those, that might make them happier as well.
Yeah, that's very well taken.
Actually, Catherine, I think we really discussed also that maybe if there were windows on that east side, that they were higher.
Like transom windows or something.
Yeah.
Right.
That they were just,
Right.
yeah. And I think
agree
that
with
was a
that.
very good thought, actually.
Yeah.
You'd still get the morning light, but you would give some privacy down below.
Right.
So anyway, that was just an aside. As I said, I didn't
Well,
mention it at all in the resolution because I didn't think that was our provenance to address something like that.
it is not, but it's a very important point, and I'm sure Mr. Daniels will consider it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I will also tell you that regardless, we're also big believers in window treatments. So we just wouldn't have light streaming out. And then the other thing is we were up there last weekend and I spent some time with Dave. And when we talked about kind of the different sort of landscaping that we would put between the houses. So I think that they'll be protected from that on multiple fronts. But thank you for the comment.
Okay, yeah, it just had struck me in their letter that might be an easy way to help that.
Yeah. And I'm sure the planning board will address that. All right, any other comments, concerns?
Nope.
Nothing? Okay. Gretchen, you want to do the roll call?
Oh, should we make
Oh,
a
you
motion?
make a motion, sorry.
I make a motion to approve the resolution.
And I'll second that.
Okay.
Okay, Catherine,
In favor.
Tim E,
In favor.
Tim Allenbrook,
in favor,
and Richard,
In favor.
and Scott.
Yes, in favor. Okay, resolution is passed. And again, Catherine, great work on that.
Yeah, very good job.
You don't have to do a resolution for quite a while.
That's good.
Can I just say thank you very much? This has been an exhaustive but thorough process. I have a much better appreciation for all you do and all the money I know you're getting paid to do this.
Yeah.
It's
Thank you.
it's really missing the Rangers game. That's the big cause
That's the
tonight.
big deal.
Oh,
That's-
ouch.
I know you all have it on in the background.
No, I don't. I can't multitask. This is my, yeah, anyway.
Lastly, I just want to add, it's been a real joy to work with the zoning board. Thank you very much for your kindness and your thoroughness. And Catherine, really well written. I'm not a writer, so I always appreciate when something's put together so nicely. So thank
Well,
you.
I had a lot of input from Kim, John's associate, and she was extremely helpful. So
And the one thing I liked, which we don't always have, was the civility between the neighbors. And the fact that you work together, you talked, you're continuing to talk. And I think you'll be good neighbors, and I think everybody will be, satisfied. And that's, we don't always have that. But when we see it, we really appreciate it.
Well
That's
done.
really
Yeah,
nice.
good job, Tom. Keeping the neighborhood and the neighbors, pleased. It was
I know,
really
now
well
we're
done.
bonding, well, and now we're bonding over his beehives, because he put beehives in last weekend, so we got more to.
very good.
Yeah, I
That's
saw that.
definitely out of our area of expertise. Or
I want to know where they were placed and what color they are.
In the middle of the yard, white.
What color are those beehives? Yeah.
So, all righty. Well, that's the end of our agenda. Is there any old, new things people want to bring up? Thanks.
Thank you.
again.
Have a good night.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, John, anything we should be aware of or discuss? I don't think there's any new business or old business or anything else.
I don't think so. I think Gretchen probably knows more about what's in the pipeline, but I'm good.
Okay, great. All right, gang. Well, if there's nothing
Good.
more, I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll do that.
All in
You have 3
favor?
seconds.
Aye.
Aye.
All right, have a
Aye.
good evening, and let's go
Okay.
Rangers.
See you
Gretchen,
next-
thank you for everything.
Yes, thank you.
You're
Gretchen.
welcome.
Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Have a
you
good
too.
night.
Yeah.
Thank
yeah.
you, Gretchen.
Good night, all.
Good night, all.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.